Welcome back, everyone, to Module 1, Part 2, Cloud Security Essentials for SMEs. I am so absolutely thrilled to guide you through this next phase of your cloud journey today. You know, moving your enterprise to the cloud, it isn't just about adopting some shiny new technology. No, it is about fundamentally securing your business's future. Today, we're building on the foundation we've already set, and we're focusing entirely on the actionable realities of cloud security. We have one main goal here: empowering your enterprise to confidently and securely operate in the cloud.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at benefits and barriers, practical security tips, basic security concepts, the shared responsibility model, and finally, varying by service model.
Section 1. Benefits and barriers for SMEs. And this brilliantly illustrates the practical realities of cloud adoption. It really is a balancing act between incredible upsides and some very real hurdles. Because as a business, you have to know exactly what you are walking into, right? On the plus side, the benefits are just massive. You get incredible cost savings, mostly because that pay-as-you-go model totally eliminates those huge upfront hardware investments. In fact, to put in perspective, 82% of companies actually save money when they move to the cloud. You also get brilliant scalability to adjust for seasonal peaks instantly, plus access to advanced tech like machine learning that used to be locked away only for the biggest enterprises. But we do have to acknowledge the barriers. The absolute #1 concern? Security fears. We're talking data breaches and GDPR compliance worries. Then there's the very real lack of in-house IT skills needed to manage these systems without making costly configuration mistakes. And, of course, the fear of vendor lock-in. It's a compelling contrast for sure, but overcoming those exact barriers is exactly why we're here today.
Section 2. Practical security tips.
So, those barriers we just talked about, they are completely manageable. You can absolutely mitigate them if you just implement the right security strategy from day one. Let's look at our first 3 vital tips. Number 1, assess your security requirements before moving a single byte of data. Identify your crown jewels, figure out your compliance obligations, and, I really need to emphasize this, perform a risk assessment. You absolutely must know the rules governing your data. Number 2, choose reputable providers. You want someone with a rock-solid security track record, so look for specific certifications like ISO/IEC 27001, and please read those data processing agreements carefully. And number 3, implement strong data protection. That means encrypting your sensitive data both in transit and at rest. And for goodness sake, turn on multi-factor authentication for every single user account. It's a total game changer.
Continuing with our practical strategies, tip number 4 is all about your people. You have got to educate and train your employees. Listen, human error is still a leading cause of breaches. Actively train your staff to spot phishing emails, enforce strict data sharing policies, and make sure they are never using personal cloud accounts for work data. Tip 5, monitor and audit cloud usage. This is not a set it and forget it kind of deal. You need to actively review access logs, run audits on user permissions, and clear out old unused accounts. And tip number 6, have an incident response plan. Even with the best defenses in the world, incidents do happen. You need a simple, clear plan detailing exactly who to call and how to contain a breach. And I highly recommend running tabletop drills for scenarios like ransomware. Finding the weak spots in your plan before a real attack hits, that is literally priceless.
Let's move to Section 3, Basic Security Concepts, and see how this builds the foundational building blocks of all cloud security. If you want to successfully execute those practical tips we just covered, you really need to firmly understand these fundamentals. First up is confidentiality. This is simply the act of ensuring that only authorized users can access sensitive data. We achieve this primarily through encryption, making the data completely unreadable to anyone with the correct key, and by enforcing least privilege principles. That just means users only get the exact level of access they need to do their specific jobs, and absolutely nothing more. Next, we have integrity. While confidentiality keeps the unauthorized folks out, integrity is all about guaranteeing that the data itself remains perfectly accurate and hasn't been tampered with. In a cloud environment, we lock this down using tools like checksums, version control, and rigorous audit logs. Basically, you always need a verifiable trail that proves your data remains exactly as it should be.
Finally, we arrive at availability. Look, it doesn't matter how confidential or pristine your data is if you can't actually get to it when you need it, right? Availability means ensuring your systems and data are accessible exactly when you need them. We secure this through built-in redundancy, uptime guarantees, and robust backup strategies that ensure fast recovery from a hardware failure or even a disaster. And that completes our foundational triad of security concepts for SMEs.
All right, Section 4, Shared Responsibility. This is a massive one for our CSI, or Cloud Security Implementation Module.
The shared responsibility model is arguably the single most critical concept in this explainer. If there's one thing you take away today, let it be this. So the crucial point is encapsulated perfectly by this definitive AWS principle. The provider is responsible for the security of the cloud. The customer is responsible for security in the cloud. That draws a very hard, distinct line. The provider secures the physical infrastructure, the data centers, the servers, the global network availability. But you, the SME, you are responsible for your customer data. You secure your systems, your apps, your configurations, and your user access controls.
Section 5, Varying by Service Model.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how that shared responsibility we just talked about actually shifts across infrastructure, platform, and software as a service. Looking at IaaS on the far left, you do the heaviest lifting. The provider secures the physical facilities and hardware, sure, but you, the customer, secure the OS updates, the firewalls, the app security, and the data. If a server is left unpatched, that's entirely on you. Moving into the middle with PaaS, the provider takes on more. They secure the operating system and platform software. But you still manage your application code, your data, and your access control. Finally, over on the right with SaaS, the provider manages almost the whole shebang, from the infrastructure right up to the application. But look closely. Even with fully managed SaaS, the customer still has to manage user policies, access, and data compliance responsibly. Poor user practices can still cause huge breaches even on a SaaS platform.
Which leaves us with this final essential question for your enterprise. Do you truly know where your cloud provider's responsibility ends and yours begins? Because listen, moving to the cloud does not eliminate your security responsibilities, it just changes them.